the sport of archery?
Yeah, I've been hunting since I was 15, so almost 15 years now, shooting bow. It's a great opportunity to get outside. Gets you outside in a great time of the season, the fall, and it's a very challenging sport. It takes a lot of time to understand how your bow shoots and get confident with it to take it out hunting. So that's kind of the big takeaway for me. So
Awesome. Thank you so much.
sure.
What is going on, boys and girls? Welcome back to another week of Health and PE at Home. This week is all about the sport of archery, and I just lucked out. I was able to interview a hunter who was practicing at my local archery range, so that was a really cool component. He talked a little bit about why he loves hunting. So we are very fortunate. We have a fantastic archery program here at Bell Vernon. Students in grades 4 all the way up to 12th grade are able to participate in our archery club. The archery club is run by 2 of our teachers at Bell Vernon High School, Mr. Hammond and Mr. Jenkins. So if you are interested in archery, you can reach out to me in school. If Mrs. Hammond is in the building, you can talk to Mrs. Hammond. We can hook you up and get you connected to our archery program. Another awesome thing about the archery program is once you hit 9th grade, when you become a freshman in high school and you are in physical education class, every spring the teachers teach an archery lesson. So you get a chance to get a compound bow in your hand and practice shooting at a target, and it is a lot of fun. Some of you may be interested in bow hunting. I personally have never hunted, but I do have a high level of appreciation for hunting. My grandfather has been a hunter his entire life, so I have been around the culture of hunting. One piece of advice I would give you is to soak up as much knowledge as you can from your elders. If you come from a family of hunters, try to soak up their knowledge. They have been doing it for a long time. They're outdoorsmen, and they can teach you what you need to know to be successful in this sport. So never take for granted what your elders have to teach you. Another thing I want to mention, and the gentleman that I interviewed kind of mentioned this as well, is it is an extremely difficult sport, bow hunting. So when we see photos of people who were successful with their hunt, or like when families bring back the animal that they harvested, we don't see everything that goes into it. People spend hours upon hours actually stalking the animal. They get up at the crack of dawn. They get up at like 3-4 in the morning to go into the woods. They spend hundreds of hours practicing target shooting. Just like the men I was just interviewing, they were practicing their skills at the local archery range. It takes a lot of precision and concentration to clear your mind when you're in the heat of the moment and you see that animal in front of you. It's a very primitive activity, hunting is. The actual aiming and shooting and hitting your target is very, very difficult. So that is why I'm here today, to teach you how important it is to go through the what's called the 11 steps to archery success. The program that we have here at Bell Vernon is called the NASP program. It stands for the National Archery in Schools program. So I'm going to teach you the fundamentals of how to shoot an arrow from a bow so you can be an archer for a lifetime. So the first thing we're going to do is determine our dominant eye. And the reason why it's important to know if you're right or left eye dominant is because that is the side of your face that you're gonna draw the string back to when you are drawing the bow. So if you are right eye dominant, you're gonna draw back to the right side of your face. If you are left eye dominant, you're gonna draw back to the left side of your face. So essentially, it lets the instructor know if you need a right hand bow or a left-handed bow. There's two different kinds, okay? Another reason why it's important to determine your dominant eye is because it will enable you, when you draw back, to keep both eyes open when you are shooting at a target. If you draw to the wrong side of your face, it will cause one of your eyes to want to close when you're drawing, and that is a no-go. You always want to keep both eyes open whenever you are drawing and shooting at a target, so your body doesn't get off balance. So let's determine our dominant eye now. Now, most people, if you're right hand dominant, you're most likely going to be right eye dominant. Most people, left hand dominant, left eye, but some people have cross dominance going on. So you might be right eye dominant, but left hand dominant. Okay, so this is called the point and wink method. So you're gonna stand about 8 to 10 feet away from an object. So you can use if you're watching this on your phone, your computer, any object. So what you wanna do is take one hand and point it at the object. Then you're going to close one eye. If the object, or if your finger, when you close that eye, moves, that is your dominant eye. So I am winking with my right eye, and my finger just jumped to the right. But when I point at the object and close my left eye, the object doesn't move at all. So I'm winking with my left eye, and it didn't go anywhere. But when I wink with my right eye, my finger jumped to the right. Whatever eye causes your finger to move when you wink, that is your dominant eye. So take a minute to try the point and wink method. Whatever eye, when you close it, causes your finger to move, even though it's not really moving in real life, that is your dominant eye. So try the point and wink method. Maybe pause this video. Okay, another way that you can determine your dominant eye is through the window method. You will need a family member with you. You need 2 people to do the window method. You want to stand about 5 feet away from the person, and you're going to put your palms up facing that person and create a small window looking right at that person's face. Whatever eye that person sees through the window is your dominant eye. So when I do the window method, I've done it many times. Every person I've ever done it with tells me that they see my right eye and my right eye only. If they see your left eye, then you are left eye dominant. If they see your right eye, then you are right eye dominant. So that is how you determine your dominant eye. Now let's learn how to make a string bow. Practicing with a string bow before you ever touch a bow and arrow is going to help improve your shooting technique. It will help you learn your correct draw length and shot execution. So what you will need is a string, a measuring tape, and scissors. So you want to cut your string about 80 inches, and then you will be ready to make your string bow. So pause this video, gather your supplies, and then press play once you have your string ready to go. All right, once you have your string, what you want to do is hold it with the 2 ends facing up. You want to connect the two ends together so they are nice and level. With your bow hand, you want to clasp about a couple inches down with your thumb and your pointer finger, and then the rest of your fingers can follow. My bow hand is my left hand because I am right eye dominant. So my draw hand will be my right hand. If you are left eye dominant, it will be the opposite. So you will hold the bow or your string bow with your right hand, and your draw hand will be your left hand. So I'm right eye dominant. My bow hand is going to be my left hand. So I'm going to clasp it a couple inches down from the top. And then what you want to do is flip it over, take your bow hand and create a loop on the other side. And again, clasp with your thumb and your index finger, pointer finger, and hold your loop with your bow hand. Next, to make a string bow, your draw hand, this is called your archer's groove. I drew with a Sharpie my archer's groove. It is the first joint of these three fingers. So you're going to take your archer's groove on your draw hand and you're going to put it inside your loop right on that first joint of those three fingers. With your bow hand, you're going to put your thumb, so hold it clamped down with your four fingers, put your thumb through your loop, and you are going to draw back with your draw hand to your anchor point. Your anchor point is the corner of your lip, where your index finger hits the corner of your lip. That is called your anchor point. That is where you want to draw to, not further or not shorter than the corner of your mouth. Once you are drawn to the corner of your mouth, your anchor point, you want to release with your draw hand, still holding with your bow hand. This is your draw length, okay? So your bow hand should still be holding that same point. What you're gonna do next is just make a simple knot at that exact point. And you can have a parent or guardian help you make your string bow. So make that simple knot. Again, have a parent or guardian help. Then let's check to make sure that this is the correct draw length. So again, with your bow hand, you're going to hold at the loop. Your archer's groove you're going to put inside. And on my bow hand, I again drew with a Sharpie what's called a lifeline. Your lifeline is where you want to put into your string bow. So this line right here, when you put your thumb inside, is where the bow is going to be held. So you're going to practice drawing back to your anchor point and making sure that that knot that you made is the exact length of the corner of your mouth. So I have a visual here I'm going to pop up on the screen so you can see the correct draw length. If it is further back, it is too long. If it is in front of the corner of your mouth, it is too short. So double check to make sure that your draw length is correct. All right, now that we have made a string bow, it is time to go over the 11 steps to archery success. It is so imperative that every single time you step up to the shooting line to practice, that you go through these 11 steps, these fundamentals in your mind before you shoot the arrow. Archers who focus on the process and the 11 steps will be the ones who are the most successful at aiming and hitting their target. We want to avoid what's called target panic, where you kind of just draw back and shoot really quickly. You're not really in the moment focused on what you need to do. You get that kind of itchy trigger finger. We don't want that to happen. So to avoid that and to allow you to be nice and calm, focus on your breath, focus on the fundamentals. You always want to, in your head, say the steps whenever you are about to shoot at your target. So, step number 1 is stance. So when you are practicing, there is something called a shooting line. So for stance, you will straddle the shooting line with your lead foot in front and your back foot behind at a little bit of an angle. So when you look down in between your feet, you will see the line right there. So what you can do is put both feet on your line together, and then with your lead foot, take a slight forward step with your toe pointing out, lead shoulder facing the target, and then your back foot is going to step so it's at a little bit of an angle, straddling that line. Okay? You will always have your string bow on toe. It's called bow on toe with your bow hand. Okay? Step number 2 is nock arrow. So we are pretending right now that there are arrows right in front of my body. They are inside what's called a quiver. The quiver holds the arrows. So, to nock your arrow, you're going to, with your draw hand, thumb facing down, you're going to grab one arrow below the feathers, or the fletching. The reason why you want to grab it below the feathers is because if you grab the arrow right on the feathers, the feathers can break. They're very brittle and weak, so grab below the feather. You're going to take it out of the quiver, and then you're going to point your arrow at the target. Always point the arrow downrange at the target, no matter what. That is a safety concern. Your bow is still on your toe. You're going to lift your arrow up over your bow, and you're going to nock it on your string. Okay, you're going to hear a click sound, and that is nocking your arrow. So now it's on the string. Step number 3 is draw hand set. So my bow still is on my toe. I'm not lifting it up at all. I'm going to I'm going to get my draw hand set. Draw hand with your archer's groove, that first joint, those 3 fingers are going to go inside of your string for your draw hand set. Draw hand is always the first step before your bow hand. We have our draw hand set. We're going to get our bow hand set. All you're doing for step number 4 with bow hand set is making sure that you're holding your bow with your lifeline. Okay, so you're going to hold the handle, making sure that the lifeline is intact with your bow hand. Bow is still on your toe. So we now have our draw hand set and our bow hand set. Step number 5 is pre-draw. With pre-draw, all you're doing is lifting up your draw hand and your bow hand with your arrow pointed towards the target. You never want to draw your string back as you lift up your bow hand and your draw hand. Never do that. I've seen kids do it all the time, and every single time when they do it, because of that motion lifting up and the draw, their arrow pops right off the string and falls onto the ground, and they lose an arrow. They shoot one less now because they're not allowed to pick it up until after everybody has shot. So again, with pre-draw, just lift up your bow hand and your draw hand with your arrow pointed towards the target. Do not draw yet. Step number 6 is draw. So when you draw, you're going to pull the string back with the arrow nocked to your anchor. Okay, so that is you drawing back. Step number 7 is anchor. You always want to make sure that your pointer finger is directly at the corner of your mouth. So that is making sure your anchor point is set. Step number 8 is aim. Okay? So you are aiming and making sure that your arrow is at the target. Step number 9 is shot setup. Shot setup, in my opinion, is the most important step because we don't have sights on our bows. So what you want to do is focus past the bow, and with both eyes opened, you want to look at the point of your arrow. Once your eyes are focused on the point of your arrow, you're going to line the arrow slightly below the bullseye of the target, because it's going to, once you release, it's going to raise up a little bit the arrow as it's going towards the target. Another thing for shot setup, now that my eyes are focused on the point of my arrow, I want to make sure that my elbow, my back elbow, is not down. You don't want a chicken wing. You want to make sure that your elbow is pointed up. So again, shot setup is really important because you want to make sure that you are engaging your back muscles. Okay, your back muscles have a lot to do with the power to draw back your string. So that was step number 9, shot setup. Step number 10 is release. Release is when you actually let go of the string so the arrow flies towards the target. So you're going to release, and then step 11 is follow through. So when you follow through again, I'm going to go from this angle, follow through and reflect on your shot is 11. I release and then I paint my face all the way back past my ear. It's really important that you do that with your follow through to help with your precision of aiming the arrow to the target. Okay? So what I want you to do right now, we're going to go through these steps again. I want you to verbally repeat me with each step. We're going to say it out loud. So, step number 1, stance. Straddle your line and make sure you say it. Step number 2, knock arrow. So the bow is on our toe. We're going to, with our thumb pointing down, we're going to grab our arrow below the feathers, bring it up over our bow, and we're going to hear that click sound and knock it on our string. Step 3, draw hand set. 3 fingers, get your draw hand set. Step 4, bow hand set. Make sure you're holding the bow with your lifeline. Step 5, pre-draw. Raise up your bow. Step 6, draw back to your anchor point. Elbow is pointing up, not down. Step 7, and again for anchor, corner of your lip with your pointer finger. Step 8 is aim. We're aiming at our target. Step 9, shot setup. Eyes are focused on the point of our arrows. We're engaging our back muscles. Step 10, release. And step 11, follow through, paint your face. So again, let's do this again. Stance, bow on toe, straddle that shooting line. Knock arrow, thumb down, grab your arrow, bring it up over your bow, knock it into your string. Step 3, draw hand set, 3 fingers holding the string. Step 4, bow hand set. You're holding with your lifeline with your bow hand. Step 5, pre-draw. Raise up, rotate your elbow out with your bow hand so you do not get hit on your forearm with the string. Step 6, draw back to your anchor point, the corner of your lip. Step 8, aiming at your target. Step 9, shot setup. Align your eyes with your the point of the arrow. Elbow is high. Get your back muscles involved. Step 10, release. Step 11, follow through. Paint your face. All right. So your challenge is to practice the 11 steps to archery success, and go and teach a family member, either a parent or a sibling, the 11 steps to archery success. So again, your challenge is to teach either a family or a friend the 11 steps to archery success. I hope you enjoyed this week's video. I miss everybody very much. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay positive. Peace.